Okay, well, I'm joined by Nicky from Manic Preachers, who is now officially a godlike genius. So, what better time to take the opportunity to look back over your career, back to the very beginning? How nice. So, not quite the very beginning, but Generation Terrorists and your debut album, you started off, there was pretty much everything in that album, from sort of twisted pop songs, Little Baby Nothing, and punk rock, hard rock, a beautiful ballad in Motorcycle Emptiness. You put all of your eggs in one basket. This was not a band that was designed to last 20 years, was it? I mean, how do you see yourself looking back on that now?
It really does seem like an absolute different lifetime. There was so little avenues, really. You know, there was Radio 1, there was The Enemy and the Melody Maker and Sounds, and that was it. You know, there was nothing as glorious as your station or your XFMs and stuff like that. You know, it was a real difficult balancing act to kind of be an independent, fiercely independent band, but kind of get into the mainstream as well. So we knew that songs like Motorcycle Emptiness, Little Baby Nothing, we thought were kind of emotional ballads that would take us into the sweet child of minds of the world. And we did put everything into that first album. We treated it like our last, me and Richey. I feel really sorry for James and Sean, because me and Richey used to go on and on about this is, you know, our first and only record. We will split up. We will sell 20 million albums, and you know, split up on the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty and stuff like that. So it was really, you know, it was all or nothing. It was no in between. And looking back on it, I actually feel good that we did as much as we did, because it's a pretty insane concept all round, considering me and Richey couldn't even play.
I mean, when you think about your ambition and your exuberance of the four of you, then is it hard to believe you ever felt that strongly, looking at looking at your youth and looking back on it?
There is an element of that. I think that's why with Send Away the Tigers, jumping forward, we did really try to reinvigorate just our naive idealism. That think of feeling like an 18-year-old again who's full of ideas and feels that they can kind of take on the world. And back then, it's hard to do that when you're 39 and you're cynical and you're verging on alcoholism and you just want to lie in bed all day. But it's a beautiful place to be. You only get it once in your life.
Now, tell me a little bit about the band dynamic when you started out, because it was such a clear-cut split, obviously, between you and Richey and James and Sean. I mean, and I always found it amazing how the lyrics that were written by you and Richey could be sung with such passion and rage by James. I mean, how much of a crossover and interconnection was there between the two sides of the band?
Well, luckily enough, me and James had been in the same year in school since the age of 4.5, 5. So we were really, really tight. And although James had written some lyrics when we first started, but I'd always kind of gravitated to that side of it. And it just seemed natural with Richey's kind of brilliant intellect and love of words and complete incapacity to play guitar, that me and him would write words together. And it was the Public Enemy thing, the kind of division of labour, a good Marxist phrase, you know, that the useless musicians would write the lyrics and the manifestos and make the clothes. And Sean was classically trained. He played trumpet in brass bands and all that. He could read music, and James had just picked up a guitar and played Exile on Main Street in a week. So it just felt really natural, and the kind of telepathy between the four of us was, I don't know, it's just that classic. It's like a Hollywood tale. I mean, 4 people in a little town in Blackwood just gravitated to each other and thought they could, really change things.
Tonight, then, this is a pretty big day in the world of the Manic Street Preachers. How are you feeling right now at this moment?
I got to say, it's the most nervous I've ever been for an awards, and we were lucky enough to win 4 Brits and Ivan Novel. There was loads of bits and pieces, Enemy stuff before, but as you can tell by the decimation of the minibar, I am generally feeling really scared and nervous, because I guess it's not like other awards. It's more of that kind of lifetime achievement thing, which being 39, but I guess we have been around for nearly 20 years. I mean, if Paul McCartney can say, I feel weird about getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, I'm sure we can. You're a few years older than us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, do you have a sense of maybe you shouldn't be getting this yet and that it's a little bit too early? I mean, it's not called a Lifetime Achievement, though, so you've got to get that clause with that.
Yeah, it's... Thank you. Now, there is a dichotomy, but I think... we grew up with the Enemy. We saw ourselves as the quintessential Enemy band. So in a lot of ways, it's the best award we could ever get, because it was a lifeline. It was living in Blackwood. We devoured the music papers, and I think it's good that Britain's got a weekly music press for all its ups and downs with the Enemy. Sometimes they love you, sometimes they hate you. But there's no other country in the world that's got a weekly music prize.
So I'm still intrigued that you're nervous, because this award's in the bag. I mean, other award shows, you don't even know if you're going to win them or not. But now you know you're going to get this.
Yeah, but I guess it's because, one, we're playing in front of other bands, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at people thinking, have I slagged them off? Have I slagged them off? What have I said about them? What have I said about them?
So that's interesting. So you're concerned that your words are going to come back to haunt you?
Well, a little bit, and it's only because this, I don't know. There probably isn't, to be honest, because there's loads of good bands. There's loads of, the Enemy and Klaxons and Ting Tings and stuff like that. So it's probably not. It's just a nerve-wracking thing. There's people saying things about us, people being nice about us. It's just like, if I find it really hard to deal with that. I guess we've always felt much easier dealing with hatred.
And people have never given you an easy ride, have they? I mean, this universal acclaim is new, really. I mean, but the people have challenged you quite a lot, haven't they? And have high expectations of what they want from you.
They have, and I think if you kind of propose lofty ideals, which we have done from the start, kind of insane ideologies, and a different kind of landscape to most other bands, a sort of intellectual landscape, then you've got to try harder, and I think we're in good company. There's the Clash who've had it, New Order, Primal Scream, so it's a mixture of longevity. I think all those bands have got something quite deep, and they've all had to earn it. I mean, all those bands have never had an easy ride.